Well, happy Thanksgiving week 2012. I was just doing a turkey. Yes, it is. Excuse me. While I sit down.
I don't think the turkey gives thanks.
No, I've seen some ridiculous Thanksgiving 2012 banners where you know the turkey is hollering at Santa Claus saying, "Hey, my holiday comes first." It ain't the turkey's holiday, man. It's not the turkey's holiday if his neck is on a chopping block.
Yeah.
Well, as usual, many Americans will consume probably millions of
well, there is a shortage
of steroid and antibiotic-laden, inorganic, bloated turkeys. There's a shortage of turkeys?
That's what I heard, especially for the food pantries.
Oh,
I don't know if it
really?
I don't know if it carries over into people who actually buy turkey.
Well, for whatever the source of these turkeys for the homeless and the poor, whoever usually supplies them, donates them, are not donating as many. So if stores usually donate, I wouldn't put it past to businesses in America deciding not to donate, because there seems to be, you know, like a snowball rolling down a mountain, and it collects more snow. It gets bigger and bigger. This greed in any way possible, any way they can find to cut corners or just screw you and to increase their profits. Everybody's getting on this bandwagon nowadays.
You mean the get way of life? The get way, the devil's way?
Well, ever since the get way, speaking of the devil's economics, yeah, ever since Republicans, with their big blowhorn, Fox News and the like, ever since they started spewing that greed and selfishness is a virtue, everybody that is in business is jumping on it. Now, Mr. Karl Rove, and I'll use the term Mr. very loosely. Karl Rove made a stupid statement. He says that that Mitt Romney's campaign momentum was interrupted by Hurricane Sandy.
Yeah.
And it was an act of God or something tried to sabotage. Some higher power tried to sabotage Mitt Romney's momentum because, well, partially the dope is right. I mean, the Obama flying to New Jersey and being very compassionate with the Hurricane Sandy victims and working so well together with Republican Chris Christie, I would say that did put a halt in Mitt Romney's momentum. You know, I think he won a lot of brownie points for doing that.
I don't think that had anything to do with anything.
Oh, really? What had something to do with everything?
Mitt Romney had nothing. He had no stand.
Well, he pissed off a lot of people.
He was a chameleon.
A flip-flopper.
He went flip-flopping from one issue to the other, depending on whom he was speaking before.
But he did tick off the female vote and the gay vote.
Well, the Republicans do that anyway.
And the minority vote.
The Republicans do that anyway.
And college kids were turned off to him.
Well, didn't you hear it now? Mitt Romney saying Obama won because he gave gifts to everybody, including college students, you know, so that they won't have to pay their student loans and things.
So who is he, Oprah? Obama is Oprah now?
Yeah, now he's Oprah. Yeah, he's giving gifts to everybody.
So he is paying the student loan.
Bribing for votes.
That's right. Republicans don't like people filing personal bankruptcy, from what you told me.
Oh, they like it, since they changed the law. You don't get a fresh start anymore.
Oh, you used to get a fresh start.
You used to get a fresh start, yeah.
So the poor...
Now you get a payment that you will make until you die.
So
And then when you die, they will try, during the time you are paying off your loan, they will try to have you sign up someone who can take over when you croak.
screw that. Hey, when you croak, that's it. It's over. It's over. Nobody's obligated to take on the debts of a relative. It's over. I'm sorry. I know they're greedy, but it never ends to surprise me week after week just how greedy the conservatives really are.
Yeah.
And how it's an obsession. It's an obsession. I mean,
Sickness.
yeah, it's a wicked sickness. It's like when Ralph Crandon said, "Heads I win, tails you lose." Let's flip a coin, Norton.
No.
Heads I win, tails you lose. It's a lose. The House always wins when the Republicans are in charge. Or, he's told Jack Benny, "You're so cheap that you pinch a penny so hard, both heads and tails are on the same side." This is how the conservative Thuglicons, T-Thuglicons, well, no, those are the foolish idiots that vote for them. Like I was saying last week, American voters are great flip-floppers too. They'll vote for Obama, but then they'll turn around and vote in their Republican Congress a person or senator, or vice versa.
Well, that's another problem. The problem there is that the Republicans have gerrymandered the districts in their states so that their incumbents are safe.
That's true.
That's one of the other problems.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize we were on the air.
Oh,
Welcome to Progressive Discussions. I am your host, James P. Madonna, and we are coming to you live as we're pre-recording this, from the Newsletter Censored Research Center in northeastern New Jersey. Yes, it is Thanksgiving week 2012, and the Christmas decorations and ornaments were in the retail stores a long time ago. Actually, Halloween items were in the stores during August. And of course, we got our first load of Christmas retail brochures in the mail today, Dr. Bill. The usual push for early holiday shopping to make all Americans feel guilty if they don't participate in this game, this concocted scam by American retailers to go out and tap out your checking accounts and go into debt, because if you don't buy everybody really nice Christmas presents, your friends, your relatives, your loved ones will give you hell for it. And it's a whole psychological game, a whole scam for the pagan Christmas. And I'm sure the government had a hands-off policy about it, and retailers just love it. The constant barrage non-stop of these Christmas songs pounding in your head every time you walk into any American store. The whole thing, it's just a brainwashing. It has nothing to do with real Christmas. It is a retail capitalist
what real Christmas?
Scam is what it is. Scheme.
What real Christmas? There is no real Christmas.
No. Jesus wasn't born in December.
Not one of God's holidays.
Jesus didn't say to worship his birthday. He wasn't born in December. No, it's a holiday for making money for the retail industry.
And it goes back thousands of years. Jeremiah wrote about it. How they deck out the tree. Goes back. Roman Catholic Church made it a festival in the early hundreds of the century.
Right.
After BC.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It has nothing to do with God or the Bible or anything like that.
Same thing with Easter traditions. It's the same deal. Christmas is the real Christmas was not supposed to happen anyway, because Jesus says, "Do not, worship anybody's birthday or God is not." It's not a Christian holiday. The original Christian holidays came from the Old Testament, correct?
7 holy days.
7 holy days.
Which pictures exactly his plan.
Right.
For humanity.
But of course Americans will feel so guilty if they didn't do it, and just like this dummy that I know from my town, Italian guy. He says, I can't say anything bad about Santa Claus. My family will get angry at me. They'll get pissed off. I'm a good Catholic.
Oh boy.
Catholic. What the hell
What does it mean to be a good Catholic?
What about being a real Christian instead of being a good Catholic? And what's the connection between buying presents and putting up stuffed, putting up images of Santa Claus? What does that have to do with?
Remember, even Santa Claus came way later, after Christmas.
They took this Saint Nicholas,
they combined everything.
Whether he was Scandinavian or German, or whether the Pope sent him to run around.
It goes back to that Pope whatever he was.
Yeah, there was I don't know if he was a bishop or a cardinal,
bishop.
He went around giving presents. Whatever origin you heard concerning Santa Claus, they took that and they changed it into this comical, fat, fuzzy guy with white hair and a beard, and it was along with the Christmas songs that were written for the major department stores in the early part of the 20th century, from what I hear, like Macy's and whatever. This is all part of the psychological brainwashing to get you to tap out your bank account and to buy, all these expensive presents for your loved ones, because you don't want to hear them complain. But they're going to complain anyway that they didn't get what they really wanted.
Well, why would they have? That's not a Christian attitude.
No.
It is more blessed to give than receive. God's way of life is the give way of life, not the get way.
You give not to get. You give because it's out of the goodness of your heart. And
you don't have to do it on a Christmas.
No, and it's the thought that counts. Same thing with Valentine's Day. The florists make out like a bandit. The greeting card companies with the nauseating sayings that people don't talk like that anymore today. It's like.
What do you mean, like roses are red, violets are blue?
Or darling, you're this to me and you're that. Oh, darling, it's all a scheme, a scam for American retail. Some say, this one guy on my Facebook group says retail's controlled by the Jews, American Jews.
Oh God.
Robert,
so everybody who owns a business in America is a Jew.
And the entertainment industry, he tells me that's controlled.
Controlled by Jews.
And the banks and a lot of NWO people.
Geez, that's kind of funny, because back when the McCarthy and these communist hunters and Jew hunters, they were all over Jews in the entertainment industry and this, that, and the other thing, and blacklisted them. And now everybody in entertainment is a Jew? 6 million of them were killed in the Holocaust. Where are all these Jews today? I mean, my God, are we overrun in the world by Jews? There's nationalities that are rich and billionaires and millionaires besides Jews.
You've heard it from the person I'm going to formally pipe aboard. Oh, by the way, this is not only a Thanksgiving week 2012 special show, but it is also a Black Friday show, because the comments,
I think Black Friday's over. It was yesterday, no?
No, Black Friday is the day
after
Thanksgiving. Supposed to be the busiest retail day of the year, and it is a day you do not want to go on any major highways or go near any shopping malls, because I sure as hell am not going to go anywhere near any shopping malls. I like to buy online anyway and get the best price, but let me formally pipe aboard our progressive pirate ship, my co-host and mentor, welcome aboard, the one and only, the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman. How are you feeling, sir?
Thank you. Fine.
Weather's cold. The frost is definitely on that pumpkin.
Oh boy.
Which means it's time for
Dickie Duncan.
Yeah. Yeah, when the weather.
Little kid down the street, Dickie Duncan.
Yeah, it's not a new donut shop, believe me. When the weather is hot and sticky, that's no time for Dunkin' Dickie. But when the frost is on the pumpkin, that's the time for Dickie Duncan.
There you go. And then in the spring, early summer next year, there'll be a lot of little things running around.
Yeah, every time we say something funny, I jiggle my balls. I mean, jingle my bells. Old-fashioned jingle bells. Okay, let us sink our teeth.
Let us turn up and pee.
No, let us sink our teeth into these readings.
Oh boy. Okay, here we go.
Because we are probably bogged down with readings. Because we were kind of long.
Who knows?
We were long-winded last week.
This is mostly for people in Jersey here, I would presume, but I'm sure it can be applied elsewhere.
Yeah.
There has been much criticism leveled at Public Service Electric and Gas.
PSE&G?
That's our utility company here. Concerning the power outages and response times. One thing that Superstorm Sandy, Hurricane Katrina, and the Wall Street financial disaster should make us aware of is the limitations of private industry and the idea that it can do a public job better than government. In our case, PSE&G was not up to the job. Its resources were limited. Government in its ideal form is us, all of us, not just the wealthy and powerful. Business can only operate in good times and in safe havens. No business has a right to control enterprises that serve the common need. We, as government, have a right to oversee business and to make business conform to our rules and regulations and to benefit of the people, and to the benefit of the people. We have a right to make business work on our behalf. And in this sense, we need government that is not small enough to drown in a bathtub. Governor Christie seemed to understand the limits of private industry during Hurricane Sandy. It would be nice if his fellow Republicans came to this understanding. When private industry gets in trouble, when it can't handle the job, it comes running to government for a bailout or manpower or whatever. Private industry cannot stand alone and certainly cannot be allowed to adopt a control of government business model. PSE&G needed help, and it turned to government and outside help. Perhaps several smaller electric utilities might have fared better. And I have the permission of this gentleman to announce his name.
It's brilliant. My opinion.
His name is
I'm listening.
William J. Eisenman, a.k.a. Dr. Bill.
You heard it.
An opinion piece in the Record, our local newspaper.
The Bergen Record, the Record. On occasion, my co-host and mentor does write articles for our local newspaper. Brilliant, sir, to say the least. Excellent. Excellent, like Montgomery Burns from The Simpsons. Excellent. Excellent. All right.
Whatever happened to customer service?
Yeah, whatever happened. You're lucky if you get a human being on the phone.
Oh, by the way, back to that particular letter there. Did you know that we here in New Jersey, several cities have their own utility companies, and they didn't have any problems?
Really?
Yeah. You know, it goes back to this old situation that, you know, we have to find some way of making individuals self-sufficient in these areas instead of depending on some utility.
Gee, if they would have went with Nikola Tesla's invention, we wouldn't have this problem from private industry.
There was one town, I'm not sure which town it was here in Jersey. They have solar, and they had no problems through this situation.
I've seen some new solar panels that are kind of like built into the roof shingles. It's like a
well, they have these ones
it's like a new space age looking shingle panel in one.
They have these ones that are just, you stick them on.
They're not big and cumbersome anymore.
No.
Solar panels.
No.
They're really quite thin, and they're like about the size of a sheet of inkjet printer paper for your printer. Yeah, it's really great, and that's
well, that's why the big boys are keeping us away from there. You know, that's what it's all about. You know, because it will undercut them.
I saw the prototype of a gigantic. I guess you would call it a gigantic solar conversion farm or plant, you know, made up of, I guess, acres of solar panels
out in the desert.
Out in the desert.
Yeah.
Where there's no shade and it just gets bombarded.
And that other thing too, you should be out there. That one you were talking about in Germany.
Oh, the tower.
The tower, yeah.
Of course, the towers along with the solar panels. These are towers made by German scientists that convert the heat from the desert ground into electricity. And what they call many deserts wasteland anyway. Why waste the wasteland?
Exactly. Remember, deserts were once flourishing fauna and flora.
Well, use it to our benefit. The intensity of the sun is greatest in the desert. I mean, look at the Australian outback. It could be the Kalahari Desert in Africa. It could be the Sahara. It could be the Mojave in America.
The Gobi.
The Gobi. Well, Gobi's kind of like a cold desert.
Salt. What's that one in Utah?
I don't know about the sun being powerful in Utah.
Well, what is got the Great Salt? Whatever.
No, not the Great Salt. Forget about the Great Salt Lake. There's a desert.
There's a desert there.
There's a particular desert in Utah.
And then, of course, there's a painted desert where where Wile E. Coyote and what's the thing's name?
Wile E.
Beep, beep.
Oh,
Beep, beep.
the Roadrunner.
The Roadrunner. Yeah, they run through there all the time because that's the painted desert. Was that Arizona?
That's the Sonora. Sonoran.
Yeah.
The Sonoran Desert goes from northern Mexico into New Mexico and into Arizona. That's the Sonoran Desert where all the big, beautiful saguaro cacti are located. And well, you don't want to. I wouldn't touch any of those saguaros. You know, they take a long time to get big, and they're protected. But you know, I mean, there's plenty of desert in the world to have these solar plants, solar farms, whatever you want to call them. Especially the deserts that are very flat with dunes, with a lot of sand, like the Mojave. You know. All right, go ahead.
Whatever happened to customer service and the principle that since the customer is always right,
well, not always,
a
but
business will do everything possible to keep him happy.
yeah, sure.
It's the kind of question many of us ask as we sit on hold, listening for what seems like an eternity to the dulcet tones of music.
Even less gold of hardcore porn, not porn, hardcore porn said on True TV, on a successful show, he said the customer is not always right.
Or press a series of buttons on our telephone, hoping to eventually reach a live human being who speaks our language and has the authority to resolve a problem. Consider what happened recently to Barbara Kist.
What?
I think Kist. Kist. K-I-S-T.
That's how you spell her name?
Kist. Yeah, K-I-S-T. Kist.
Oh, you have a very annoying, strong T at the end of that name.
I think most of us can relate to her experience.
Say it, don't spray it.
It involved a call to her doctor, but could have been to the cable company, an online merchant, or any other business. A machine picked up my call,
You're lucky you get a machine.
thanked me for calling, and proceeded with instructions.
I thank you. You are a valued customer.
For an emergency, please dial 911. For appointments, dial 1.
911. You said 991.
I said 911.
All right.
What do you think I am, Herman Cain? 999?
I missed that guy, Herman Cain.
For appointments, dial 1. Test results, dial 2. Insurance questions, dial 3. After making my choice, a recording came on announcing that the office was presently closed.
That happened to me. I was on the phone with automated, voices, and hit the pound, hit the star, hit 9, hit 1, hit 2. Then finally, an automated voice told me, "We cannot take your call at this time because all offices are closed. Please call Monday morning." Well, why don't the hell they tell me that at the beginning?
Between the hours of 9 and 5.
Right. Why did the hell the automated voice tell me that at the beginning? Instead of having me
They wanted to aggravate you.
hang there for 15 minutes. Press 1, press 2, press the pound symbol, press this, press that. Come on.
I had to go through that the other day with Verizon to recertify a particular program that I have.
Oh, God.
Oh my God. Standing at the phone with my back.
And why should you have to go through that trouble if Verizon is sending you a bill?
It wasn't a bill, but actually they send me a letter and they say, "We've been trying to reach you.
Have
We've
they?
been No! We've been unsuccessful." So they want me to do that on the phone. They could have sent me a letter.
Because they haven't attempted to reach you.
Exactly.
That's why they're unsuccessful.
Exactly. Because I'm here.
Whatever happened to a business letter preparing you
that would require hiring a secretary.
and paying postage? Oh, heaven forbid
Yeah,
a big American corporation should have to have an overhead
Right.
and a workforce.
Yeah.
Wow.
Please call back between regular office hours, which were not divulged, by the way. Oh, and of course, the call finished with a pleasant, "Thank you for calling."
You know what? I'm so sick of customer service people who, and my sister said it pisses her off. They thank you profusely, never-ending
Your
thanks.
call is important to us.
Your call is important to us. Please don't hang up. You are a value customer, and we apologize so much for your inconvenience. Stop apologizing to me and fix the problem. I don't want to hear about how valuable I am. Fix the damn problem.
Thanks for what? I didn't speak to anyone. I wasted 10 minutes pushing appropriate buttons and got absolutely no information. Time totally wasted. That's customer service.
This article's great. It's sad but true. Funny, too. Funny. Go ahead.
Hardly, but it's not unusual. Says Emily Yellen, a consultant to Pepper.com.
She must have a loud mouth.
Excuse me, Pepper.com.
Emily Yellen must have a real loud mouth.
A New York-based marketing communications company. And author of Your Call Is Not That Important to Us. A look at the inner workings of the multi-billion-dollar customer service industry.
Oh, man.
That has frustrated and maddened consumers for years. Customer service has become a mostly telephone-based industry, with Americans making more than 43 billion calls each year. And companies too often try to find the cheapest, most efficient ways of doing it.
And all the customer service people that pick up the phone when I call are from the Philippines. How do I know? Because I know the Philippine accent very well. They won't tell me. Well, sometimes they'll tell me where they're from, but it used to be India. But no.
I
It's
usually get India.
I think the Philippines work for less money. $1 an hour.
The companies will change right away. If one country, that's one country against another.
No, they were at the company. The office work is being outsourced from India to the Philippines
because they'll work for less money.
$1 an hour.
That's what I'm saying.
The poor souls. I mean, of course, China will work for 32 cents an hour, but I don't think their accents might be difficult to understand.
It's a matter of inside-out thinking of corporate cultures with long-standing traditions of marginalizing customer services and not giving their workers the backing they need to support customers.
Excellent. Now we have one more before break. Not so long.
It's not so long. Starting with Bank of America's disastrous plan to charge customers for using their debit cards last year, fees have become the third rail of the banking industry.
That pissed off a lot of people, by the way.
But they'll find some other way to get around it, and get the fees in there.
Yeah.
It's a prickly topic many bankers shy away from. Even as they hike ATM and overdraft charges to record levels, and more checking accounts go from free to fee. Almost every checking fee Bankrate.com follows went up this year, with some monthly service charges for checking accounts up 25%. Banks are dinging account holders 11% more for out-of-network withdrawals on top of what the ATM owner demands. And the average overdraft fee rose to a record $31.26, according to the financial research firm. Consumers are pushing back. In a Bankrate poll, 72% of Americans said they would be more open to switching to another bank if their financial institution raised its fees on checking accounts. Citing National Credit Union Administration data, The website Nerd Wallet said 3 million people jumped from banks to credit unions in the year that ended in June. Bankrate's findings were just the latest salvo against the banking industry. Numerous surveys have found consumers are increasingly unhappy with what they believe are predatory and unfair fees. All the talk of unfair dealing has put banks on the defensive, especially smaller community lenders that say they have held the line on fees. And by the way, let us not forget, it was Saint Ronald Reagan who did away with anti-usury laws in his administration, which allows credit card companies to charge whatever they want.
So would you say Ronald Reagan was the biggest deregulator, possibly in the history of politics?
Well, I don't know about that. I wouldn't want to assign that to anybody. He's a deregulator, and it hurts the consumer.
Of course.
And the country. By the way, these deregulations that help the big boys. As the Bible says, the big boys don't need any help. They have their consolation.
Yeah.
And yet, our boys up there in Congress and in the White House, they're always helping the big boys. Oh my God, that we should help students, the poor, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. God forbid.
Well, subsidies and Wall Street bailouts
These are fine.
is welfare for the rich. It's welfare. It's okay to give to the rich. Oh, heaven forbid the banks should not make all these should not collect all these fees. Then Bank of America cannot give out all those big bonuses that they give to their top brass, right?
Well, that's true, but the point of it all, the point of all of that stuff is that we are keeping those people rich by robbing from the people below them. That's what has happened, at least over the last 32 years.
Yeah, true. Okay, you finished that reading, so we will take our break now. It is time for the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman's A Gastronomic Delight, known as lunch, followed by his supplements. And you're doing your Mega Vitamin C?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I need to order that with the way my throat's been feeling. I think, have you checked out the price of the Swanson vitamin C powder with rose hips? Seems reasonable, right?
No, I have I buy my Twin Labs.
Because of the bioflavonoid. It's not cheap.
No, it's not cheap. It's 20-some bucks a bottle.
Wow. But
8-ounce bottle.
It has the bioflavonoids in it. If you're wondering who are these two gentlemen up here, and I use the word gentlemen.
Loosely.
No, I don't. They are gentlemen.
Oh, God.
These are the End Time Brothers. We got over here, we got Barnacle Billy Bones. And over here we have Mr. LaParca. They represent what the mainstream masses have in store for them, what will happen to the mainstream masses, particularly the poor and the homeless, in the end times, because we are living in the end times. So
it's happening to them now.
They represent the little guy in the end times. Okay, end of days brothers. Brothers from another mother.
Florida, and where's it? Lake in New Jersey here, where the homeless are living in tents.
Oh, Lakewood, New Jersey.
Lakewood, New Jersey, yes.
And living in the woods, and they wanted to evict those homeless people living in tents.
Hey, the poor, man. We don't want these people around here.
The town of Lakewood wanted to evict them from their tents in the woods because they I guess they looked at them as if they were vagrants or something.
It's a downer, man. It's a downer.
It's a downer. You become like Ken Create and like that theatrical performance that Morgan Paul does with Ken Create called The Homeless Man. where if you're homeless in America, you're invisible. But in reality, there's a big story behind a lot of these homeless people.
You're invisible as far as getting help, but you're not invisible when they want to get rid of you.
When they want to get rid of you,
Yeah. Then you're a
an eyesore.
Eyesore. Yeah, exactly.
They want to get rid of you, or if you're a protester peacefully protesting around Wall Street, they want to get rid of you. But getting back to the homeless, when they want to get rid of you, you're not invisible. But if you exist, you're invisible because they probably don't want to help you.
Well, they don't.
Yeah, all right. Well, Dr. Bill, the tale of the Twinkie.
Uh-oh.
So pretty much, what did they find as ingredients in the
It's
one?
got like 37 ingredients. One of them is rocket fuel.
Oh gosh.
And a lot of other crap.
Well,
like you were talking about cellulose before, wood, whatever.
that's nothing compared to. Well, yeah, a lot of grated cheese, Parmesan,
Sugar, and then corn syrup. You know, it goes on and on.
Yeah, I was talking about, while Dr. Bill was having his lunch, he wanted some Parmesan cheese on it, or Pecorino Romano, or both, whatever. And I told him, at my house, we only get two companies, 4C or Rienzi, because there is no cellulose powder. There is no sawdust in it, which supposedly prevents caking of the Parmesan cheese. Well, these ingredients in Twinkies, the cellulose powder is the least of people's worries with the crap that's in these nationally advertised popular baked goods that are on supermarket shelves. I'm sure Twinkies is not the only garbage, the only toxic poison. Is it the fake cream that's in the middle of Twinkies that has this?
A lot of the crap is in there, yeah.
These chemicals.
Yeah.
Fake cream, huh?
But
that doesn't spoil.
Remember, they also make ding-dings or ding-dongs or whatever the hell it is.
Ho-hos?
I don't know about hose.
Wait, which company?
Hostess.
Oh, we're talking about Hostess, because I wanted to name names. Yeah, the Hostess company. Well, what amazes me much more than the fact that these items, I don't want to call them food because they're not. It's not food. These toxic items. It doesn't. What amazes me more than their ingredients is the fact that our Federal Food and Drug Administration, FDA, allows these toxins to be sold on American supermarket shelves. They're approved to be sold. That amazes me even more than the toxic ingredients in the Twinkie.
And remember, what people are doing now, they are buying them up and then they're going on and selling them on Amazon for 100 times their worth.
Why? Because
they're going to be extinct.
Because some Americans just have to eat their garbage?
No, because the people are on strike and Hostess is going to close down.
So instead of
Twinkies will not be made anymore.
So instead of complying,
They want the bread no more.
instead of complying
Bread is gone.
with the union, instead of complying with the employees and giving them what they need, not just what they want, what they need and what they should get, they rather just close down the plant.
Yep. Yep.
Hey, close down the plant. Leave
Right here in Jersey.
Leave the country. Secede from the United States.
Oh, all the states want to secede now.
Secede and don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out.
I thought we had a civil war that solved that problem.
Good riddance to bad rubbish. Gee, how are they going to survive without Washington around anymore?
Well, maybe Texas will be invaded by Mexico.
Oh, the Alamo all over again.
Yeah.
Mexico will say like, yeah, that wealthiest man on earth in Mexico, the multi-billionaire would buy Texas.
And Rick Perry would sell it.
Yeah, Rick Perry.
Republicans will sell anything.
Anything to make a buck.
Yep.
Unbelievable. What would they do? Change the name of Texas to like the Republic of Montezuma or something? Or Quetzalcoatl? I don't know.
Mm.
Or Hooterville?
Oh, man.
Unbelievable. Well, you know what? My heart definitely does not bleed for these rich Republicans who, who cry about having to pay their fair share in taxes. I mean, Obama says, we got to get the rich to pay a little more in taxes. That's just a compromising, appeasing language because he wants to work with them. He wants their approval. Personally, I wouldn't use the term get the rich to pay a little bit more in taxes.
Well,
I would say get the rich to take on the tax burden like they did during FDR and Truman and Eisenhower, like they should be doing.
for the last 32 years.
The hell with paying little. You're going to pay a lot because you're rich.
For the last 32 years, the rich have been on a tax holiday and have not paid their fair share. When the constitutional amendment for the income tax was put into place in 1913, only those with money were charged. All of a sudden, somewheres around 30-some years ago, this great propaganda campaign began. And the poor red states began saddling up to billionaires to protect them against paying their fair share.
Absolutely.
But the point is, when they use that language about getting them to pay a little more, that's not what it's all about. They've had a holiday for 32 years and haven't paid their fair share. They owe a lot. And when they didn't pay their fair share, guess who had to make it up?
Middle class.
And the poor.
The middle class and the poor.
Uh-huh.
I would make them, the rich, pay some back pay, some back taxes.
Back pay, yeah.
Back pay and current pay. And you know what? They will still be rich.
That's the problem.
And they will still be living high on the hog.
That's the problem. And nobody ever talks about this relativity thing. If you have $1 billion
Right.
and you take away 100 million, you still have $900 million.
Yeah, you can't be happy on $900 million?
Well, if you can't, you're sick.
Hey, how many beach houses does a rich person need?
Now,
How many yachts do they need? How many limos, how many private jets does one need? Come on.
well, I think Newt Gingrich needs about 5.
Why? Because his weight wears them out, or something. The jet engines wear out, or something.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
They seem to need more and more and more.
No, they don't. They don't. They instead of getting more jets and more mansions on the beach, what they should do is they should pay more taxes. They should be paying taxes with that money.
It is their obligation to pay the taxes. It is their patriotic duty to pay those taxes. Not to run off to the Cayman Islands and some other tax havens and not pay their fair share of taxes. You notice how quickly that issue went away in the Mitt Romney thingy after a while.
Yeah, that wasn't really mentioned that much.
Exactly.
Taxing the rich, and then after.
No, his hiding of his millions in a Swiss bank account in the Cayman Islands.
Do you remember Obama bringing that up in the debates?
No.
Well, the global warming wasn't brought up.
All he brought up in the debates was that
And Mitt Romney's hiding of his money.
Mitt Romney's pension was bigger than his. That's all.
Yeah, they chuckled about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Obama says, I think Mitt Romney did a great job with the Olympics. Why do many of these Democrats need to make friends with and compromise with and get approval from conservative Republicans? Why must they be bipartisan with them? The Republicans don't care about compromising. They don't want to compromise with Democrats. Why must Democrats always seek their approval and have to give compliments to Republicans? They have to...
And in making deals, they always have to bend over backwards or bend forward.
Well, in part, the people are to blame. The people are to blame for not putting their feet to the fire and saying, the hell with compromising and bipartisanship. We didn't vote for you to be like a conservative.
Yeah, but...
You know what I mean? It's like Americans they bitch and moan on the internet. They text and type all kinds of complaints. But that's about all they do, and then when it comes time to vote, they'll behave like hypocrites. They'll vote for one party for president and another party for Congress or Senate.
Well, because
we don't need bipartisanship. We need progressive liberals to run the United States of America, so the masses and the little guy and the poor would live the life they're supposed to be living. They have. A good education and good health care is supposed to be a right, not a privilege.
Yeah, well, that's, God forbid, what the Republicans do not want.
No, they want you to pay out of pocket for everything, which is it's an asshole.
Which fills the coffers.
It's a very undesirable.
Their supporters. You see what it is? It's all back to siphoning upward.
I think living in a country where 100% of everything has to come out of your pocket, I think that sucks. I think that kind of system really sucks.
Oh, up by the bootstraps is supposed to make us better people, stronger people, pioneer spirit.
Yeah, what did my conservative Uncle Phil say? When the going gets tough, the tough get going.
Oh, geez.
What does that mean? How do you get going? How do you get? First of all, you got to get tough. Not everybody can get tough, and if you get tough, you got to get going. How could you get going if there's no opportunity in front of you? There are no options for you. How do you get going?
Well, let's see.
On what?
The banks on Wall Street got going. They ran crying to the government.
Help! Help!
Help me!
Mayday! Mayday! Help me!
Help me, Spark!
Help me, Kirk! Help me, Spark! Ayuda, as they say in Italian and Spanish. Help! Ayuda! Help! And they get the help. But if the poor need a little welfare, a few crumbs here and there, and even worse, the smallest crumb of all, food stamps. Gee, Republicans make a big damn deal about a low-income person getting food stamps. How much money in food stamps do you think poor people get?
Not enough, because they always run out before the end of the month.
It's ridiculous. And Republicans bitch and moan about that?
Yes, they do, because that money they would like to go to Wall Street. They need more.
But it's okay for them and their kids and their families to eat pretty good, 3 square meals a day
Hey, when you got it, flaunt it.
of filet mignon and black Angus, aged black Angus steak and lobster tail, whatever the hell.
Omaha steaks?
Huh?
Omaha steaks?
Whatever, or Kobe steak. It's okay for them to live high on a hog. I'm sure their kids are eating well. I'm sure they, they get the best health care, the best education. They live in mansions.
Well,
But heaven forbid, the masses should want a decent life, halfway decent
the
life.
least amount of money that was given to Wall Street and its other suck-ups
Yeah.
was something like $16 trillion. Can you imagine, with just a tiny fraction of that, poverty in America could have been wiped out. Wiped out. But the money had to go to the big boys.
What about the money you can raise by trimming the bloat out of the defense budget?
Well, I'm saying
That alone.
though, this money that went is only added to that situation. The deficit, the national debt, etc. But when you give money to, since our economy is driven by consumers, 71% of it, the more money that the people downstream, middle class and poor, have, the more they put into the economy. The more the economy grows. The more the economy expands. The better it is for business.
Oh.
And then they don't have to come crying to government for moolah and bailouts and subsidies, etc.
And if you don't outsource, you keep the jobs in the United States, like other countries do, like Japan. Then businesses in America, corporations will be the job creators instead
Well,
of the job creators in China.
But unfortunately, the tax system in America supports companies doing that, offshoring and moving and paying, getting wages in other countries. We support that. Our tax system supports that.
Didn't Mitt Romney deny outsourcing allegations during
Of course
the
he
campaign?
did, but he did it.
And nobody.
Back in the 90s, the late 90s, he did it.
But did the
He denied a lot of things.
But did the mainstream media? I'm not talking about Fox News. Did the mainstream media bring all the dirt out?
It was mentioned and stuff like that, but then it went nowhere. Because you don't have investigative journalists anymore in the media.
Well, in reality, I know he won, but in reality, Barack Obama, during the very first debate, he could have went right for Mitt Romney's jugular vein. He could have brought up all this dirt. He could have hammered him like I'm smacking my hand with my Irish shillelagh, blackthorn. Obama could have hammered Romney right from the get-go. The best defense is a good offense, but he didn't do it.
No. I told you why. Nobody seems to want to adhere to my
Screw the
explanation.
corporations.
My explanation was
What?
it was Obama's anniversary.
Oh, here we go.
He wanted to get on to the meal and nookie.
The future of America and the world is at stake, for God's sakes. And
Don't you just see the General Petraeus
he
was
lives with
thinking with his dicky?
he lives with the woman. Why does he? Why he only gets sex on his anniversary?
Well, certain time together. They don't have all this time together.
I'm glad you brought up General Petraeus. Do we have a General Petraeus article?
I doubt it.
Well, I want to
I
say
don't
something.
think
General Petraeus having a mistress, or a gumata, as we say in Italian, the other woman. Extra testicular activities? Extramarital affair, okay. You take him, you take Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky, you take Tiger Woods and his many girls on the side. These men in the spotlight, whether they have important political jobs or whether they be celebrities or whether they be sports athletes, whether they be president of the United States, what they do in their private life in terms of fooling around has nothing to do with their credibility, track record, or performance in their job, in their career. It is no correlation. As long as they do their job and get the job done and do it really well, no matter if you're an athlete or the president, it's nobody's damn business what you do when you punch out the clock. And them, the media is making this General Petraeus affair as a big, this huge scandal. What the hell does that happen? Him getting laid by somebody other than his wife, and you say his wife is not that good looking.
If that's what he goes by.
What I'm saying is, you know, this has nothing to do with his job as head of the CIA. So I don't think he should have resigned. And I don't think, just like I don't think they should have went after Bill Clinton when he got a little hairy pie from Monica Lewinsky.
Well, they were trying to go after Bill Clinton for anything they could dig up.
Because he was a Democrat.
Whitewater, Monica Lewinsky.
That's what Republicans do.
The insurance scandal, the health care, Hillary's health care. They wanted anything they could get at.
You know, but Americans that are right-wing fundamentalists, I mean, this one jerk was saying, was hollering about Tiger Woods. How dare he do what he did because he's supposed to be a role model to kids in America. Hey, Tiger Woods is a golfer. He plays golf. He's not paid to be a role model to your kids. You, the father or the legal guardian, is responsible to be a good role model to your kids. Not some celebrity, not some famous athlete, not even a politician. You, the father, have the responsibility to be a role model, not a famous athlete, whether it be a baseball player or a football player or whatever, basketball. You know, hey, if I was Tiger Woods, I would say right away, you're being a role model and helping to develop your child's mind is not my job. It's not my responsibility. I have my own kids. You be the role model. So right away, they have this puritanical attitude where, you know, famous people have to set this role model, especially athletes, for young boys and everything. It's bullshit. Like I said, Petraeus.
Yes, Sandusky was quite a role model.
No.
Jerry Sandusky,
Oh, him?
pedophile, extraordinaire.
I mean, he was a good role model, sure. You know, or Pee Wee Herman masturbating in a theater watching porn. What the hell does that have to do with Pee Wee's Playhouse? He's on his own time, the poor guy. He's not working. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. You punch the clock. You do your job to the best of your ability. If you excel at what you do, and you're famous, it's based on what you do best, not what you do in your private life. I don't care. I didn't care if Pee Wee Herman had a harem and sex toys all over the floor in his house. He's still Pee Wee Herman that did Pee Wee's Playhouse. But right away in America, these crazy religious nuts, these puritanical zealots, they have to make a big scandal out of it.
That's what happens when you look behind nearly all of Republican lawmaking and moral judgment, etc. It's always based on some false religion, some counterfeit Christianity. And yet they want to put these into laws for others to obey.
Right.
When they should be doing their homework and checking out, do I have the right religion? Do I have the right God?
Well,
No.
everything a right-wing fundamentalist spouts from their mouth is not, most of it is not in the Bible.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
They might think so,
But yet why do they open their stupid mouths without having done their homework and checked the facts? It's only because they are deceived, like Revelation 12:9 says, and they go parrot these traditional lines that they get from who the hell knows who. Pastors, politicians, the Business Roundtable, all of these religious organizations, Pat Robertson, Falwell when he was living, and what was that other guy? Terry, whatever. You can't listen to a man or a woman.
Mm-hmm.
You must do your homework and check out what they say. Can't be lazy.
but they are.
I realize
That's
that.
why they listen to an evangelist or their pastor.
Or Rush Limbaugh. Or Sean Hannity, the baby Jesus of Fox News.
Well, it's easy for a lazy, fat American to sit on their ass and just turn on Fox News and sit back, kick their feet up and listen
I
to.
think they're learning something.
Yeah, but I mean, heaven forbid they should actually learn the truth.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like I said last week, I get heat all the time on the internet. You know, people accuse me of ranting toxic negativity, but people rant all the time. People rant and complain to me all the time. I hear people on the air that are famous rant and rave every day. But it's okay for them to rant. You know, and this particular someone accused me of ranting and spouting negative, toxic words and things like that. Well, this person rants all the time. Sometimes much worse than me, and raises his voice. This celebrated individual that's on the air, but he gets mad at me. You know, I mean, what's the old saying? The pot calling the kettle black, or something. I mean, you know, the hypocrisy. It's ridiculous. I get heat for ranting, but when I rant, I always try 100% to deal with true facts, because I believe when you deal with the truth, you have the best ally on your side. It's
Yes, but
proven
unfortunately
truth.
there are people who do not know a fact. Wouldn't know a fact if they tripped over it.
Like those individuals I used to fight with on my political group. Those two redneck, red state numbskulls, they used to fight with me all the time. Nothing would change their mind.
And those people are what you call flamers. They just want the FaceTime.
You know, I could post many videos, many articles. I could type my little fingers to the bone, and they would come out with an insulting.
Something the opposite.
Yes, you know, a personal insulting attacks. You know, that saying something stupid that made no sense.
Well, personal attacks, I can tell you right off the bat, on the internet, are worthless.
Well, the people
And
who,
should not be indulged in the first place,
the
because that only drives them further.
the people who resort to
They must
personal
withdraw.
the people who resort to personal attacks are those that don't have anything intellectual to say or have no proof on their side.
Well, that's true. Just like when you're in a debate with a Republican or a conservative, they'll use ad hominem attacks. And they will attack you, and they will talk over you, and they will not let you get your points in, and et cetera, et cetera.
And that has nothing to do with hominy grits.
No, it doesn't. That's corny.
Yeah, I know.
Ah,
Get it?
ring the bell.
That's a corny joke.
I do. Okay.
That was corny. That was actually pretty funny too, in a corny sort of way.
Ah.
But yeah, this individual is trying to get under my skin by calling me, instead of Megalife 21, he uses the word Mega Tits 21, because he continues to say I have large breasts, when in reality they are rock solid pectoralis majors and minors or whatever. You know, these are muscles here.
Are they in the National Minor League or
Minor leagues, pectoralis majors.
American Major League?
Like my mascot, the golden rooster that's on my, the golden cock. The golden cock that's on my political group. Anyway, let's sink our teeth into more readings here.
Oh, wow.
But, you know, so far the articles have been pretty good. But I'm glad I got off my chest
Your
this-
major pectoralis?
about Petraeus.
Oh.
You know, the persecution of Petraeus.
Petitions from all 50 states by citizens requesting that the OB grant them the opportunity to leave the United States
Sayonara.
and form their own sovereign governments are not the only ones being submitted under the White House's We the People initiative.
Call it the United Republic of Brain-Dead Humans.
In response to the calls for secession, since Obama's re-election, numerous other petitions have appeared on the website this week, some taking on the signers of the secession petitions. One petition, with nearly 10,000 signatures, calls on the president to please sign an executive order such that each American citizen who signed a petition from any state to secede from the United States of America shall have their citizenship stripped and be peacefully deported.
Peacefully?
Where are they going to be deported to? They're already in a state.
In other words, you're talking about people that were born in the United States.
These are people who want to secede from a particular of a state. They're in a state and they want to secede, and they want to be peacefully deported. Where to? Like in Texas to Mexico? They want to be deported peacefully to Mexico? What are they talking about?
Well, if their state secedes, and they happen to be in a state that did not secede, and they're from, in other words, if you're a right-wing nut and you live in, let's say,
Texas.
well, let's just say West Virginia, because West Virginia voted for Romney. You know, Bible Belt, Holy Roller State. And you're
False.
Huh?
False. Holy Roller Bible Belt. False.
Well, I
False
wasn't being complimentary.
Okay.
Yeah, false religion.
False religion.
Cult. Christian cultus. Actually, that's not a bad term. It's accurate. All right, let's say the right-wing zealot who voted for Romney is all pissed off and wants to secede from the Union, but West Virginia is not granted the secession. Let's say Texas is granted the secession, and then I guess they would go and move, and they would live in Texas. They would relocate to Texas.
Possible.
You know, don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out.
Or they might just want to be talking about the fact that we in West Virginia want to secede. Thank you very much. Okay, we are not part of the 50 anymore. Maybe that's what they're talking about.
All right.
But unfortunately, all of this talk is a bunch of nonsense because we already solved this problem. It was called the Civil War. And no state is allowed to secede from the Union. Thank you,
Well, you know these,
Mr. Abraham Lincoln.
But you know these redneck red state people, these hicks, these rednecks are in a lot of ways are still fighting the Civil War, and they're full of hatred and bigotry.
And that they do not understand civics and our Constitution and the Articles of Confederation which preceded the Constitution.
True.
Okay? And they do not know anything about history.
Well, they don't know anything about their Bibles or history.
And that too. Yet they'll spout it to you, won't they?
Yeah, they want to.
They'll try to proselytize you and they'll try to convert you.
They want to convert you. They want to tell you.
Save your soul, man.
They want to tell you how to live your life.
Yeah. Under their laws.
Their laws.
That's correct.
It's
Which
fascism.
they attribute to God.
It's fascism. It's about power.
Okay. Another petitioner is happy to allow states to peacefully leave the Union, as long as they pay their share of the national debt before they go.
Fat chance.
Meanwhile, more than 8,000 people have signed a petition to make Election Day a federal holiday, which it says would increase voter turnout by eliminating the pressures and constraints of the workday. A petition must receive 150 signatures to appear on the website, launched in 2011, and 25,000 signatures to receive an official White House response. Okay?
An official White House response?
Correct.
It should be interesting to see what the Republican Congress would say about that. I would be shocked if they granted secession.
You can't. I just told you. We fought a civil war over it. The problem is solved. You can't do it.
Yeah. You know what I love to see? I love to see a constitutional amendment that would revert the Constitution back to its original form and
Why would you want to do that?
and decree that that the Constitution cannot be tampered with ever again. That's the amendment.
That's amendments. You can tamper with it all you want. You just have enough, states to go along with you.
Yeah,
That's why it's amendable. It's a living, breathing document. It's supposed to change over time.
Yeah,
but originating it, like Mr. Scalia would say, it was written when we had slavery.
But not to change for the worse, to change for the better. Look what G.W. Bush did to the.
He didn't change the Constitution.
Well, who tampered with the freedom of speech?
That's their signing statements, their executive orders.
Like the Patriot Act.
And Patriot Act and stuff. But this doesn't change the Constitution.
Yeah, but
it's only because we accept that these things override it. They don't.
So
they do not.
The idea of an American being persecuted and arrested for disagreeing with the government
is against the Constitution. And until somebody takes that to court and it goes up to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court rules on it and says, yeah, that's how it is.
Now,
it's accepted.
Are there supposed to be some Supreme Court seats that have to be refilled in Obama's?
Yeah, but unfortunately, one
second term.
One will already be a Democrat or a liberal. Ginsburg, she's already there.
Ginsburg is already there, and
but she may go.
And Sotomayor. Now, what about
Sotomayor's got many years ago.
What about Antonin Scalia?
Get rid of him. But he won't go.
Because he sucks. He's an asshole.
But it's possible that two of them may go. But not any of the conservatives that I can see will go.
They're stubborn.
Yeah. They're going to stay there.
Obama should say...
Obama has no power to say anything like that. He's not a dictator. And again...
Well, Chris Christie has no problem giving his opinion.
Opinion is opinion, but you're talking about something else.
You know, making the Republican Supreme Court judges feel that they're unwanted, unwelcome, and disliked by the Obama administration. Say, you know what, Supreme Court justices that are conservative, I don't like you. I never liked you. I wish meteors would fall from the sky and land on your heads.
That is not nice. That is not nice.
I know,
You're supposed to love your enemy.
I don't.
And do good unto your neighbor.
Do good unto conservative nuts like John Bonehead Boehner.
Well, I mean,
And-
you can differ with them
And
policy-wise.
old turtle face, Mitch McConnell.
You can differ with them policy-wise, but personal attacks and things are another matter. You know,
Yeah.
or wishing them. That's what Falwell and them did. They and Robertson, they prayed. They prayed for people,
Okay.
the liberals on the court, the Supreme Court, to die.
Okay, now when Ginsburg vacates, who appoints the replacement? President Obama?
Obama.
And then
they have to go through the Senate confirmation hearing,
Okay, follow.
where the Republicans, if they do not like them, will filibuster them.
Here we go again, the filibuster.
Correct.
And you don't think they're ever going to get rid of the filibuster?
I think even Nancy Pelosi said that ain't going to happen. You know?
You know
Put
what?
it back the way it was.
It's all prophesized. The United States is under the curse, just like Great Britain. Modern day descendants of ancient Israel. Things are not supposed to get better in the end times, right, guys? Things are not supposed to get better. Heaven forbid positive things should happen in politics in Washington.
As a union member and lifelong Democrat,
I salute that term.
I should be having lots of trouble finding something nice to say about Governor Christie. However, I can find no fault with how he is handling the matters pre and post Hurricane Sandy.
You know, he impressed a lot of people in New Jersey because of the way he handled Hurricane Sandy.
He was great with all things Irene, too. With Irene.
But then he reverts back to cutting programs, and he'll help the victims of Hurricane Sandy, but then he'll close food pantries for the homeless.
Further, I believe he will prove the right man to lead the effort to restore our post-Sandy state. It baffles me how members of his own party are now second-guessing his loyalty based on the welcome he extended when the President of the United States visited New Jersey.
So if you need government help and your state is in a state of a disaster, you're not supposed to be nice to the president which you are asking for help?
No, Republicans believe you're supposed to take the money and run.
And if they have that attitude, they actually think Obama's going to just hand over the money to somebody who's nasty and has an attitude with him?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sure. Oh.
Christie had an obligation to his constituents, both Republican and Democrat, to demonstrate proper respect, which of course is precisely what Christie conveyed. How anyone could question Christie's party loyalty, believing a show of respect for the highest office of the land is something akin to a political endorsement, is pretty amazing. I listened to Christie's keynote speech at the Republican National Convention. I viewed various clips of his campaigning for Mitt Romney, most recently. Obama can't find a light switch in a darkened room. I have no doubt that Christie very much wanted Romney to win the presidency.
Well, he had to say that. Could you imagine if he would have not said that? Of claiming that he's voting for Mitt Romney? They would crucify him. They would barbecue him like a roast pig.
Well, they're doing that now just because he was nicey with Obama.
So you need money from somebody in power, and you treat him very rudely and ill-mannerly, and you say bad things about him, and then you expect the person in power to help you. That makes a lot of sense.
I did not think Governor Christie prepared New Jersey for the storm that we just experienced. While he was out campaigning for Mitt Romney, there appeared to be no readiness plan for those who were without power for more than a week, as I was. I will grant you, he was all over the state after the storm hit. I assure you, any governor would have done the same. As for adding jobs to the state, he has been largely non-productive. He vetoed some bills that would have created many jobs and economic activity based on his religious and political views. This was not a help to the state. I pray that he is not reelected. I think that Newark Mayor Cory Booker is ready to fill those shoes quite well and so. Can win.
I think so. I like Cory Booker. He's got spunk. He's very intelligent, young blood.
And he runs into houses to save lives when they're on fire.
I like him. I like him a lot.
Okay.
Cory Booker, mayor of Newark, New Jersey. You know, Christie won't tax the rich and businesses, and big business in New Jersey, because he's afraid they'll move out of the state and take all the jobs with them. But the jobs are not being created anyway in New Jersey. You know, even though their taxes are cut.
We say we want our political leaders to embrace bipartisanship.
Who says? This Momo that wrote the article?
I guess so.
No, I say no. No bipartisanship. No.
That it should be all about getting the job done. Doing what's right for America. And putting personal political agendas aside for the betterment of society.
So compromising with Republicans is going to improve the United States.
Not if they get what they want.
The Republicans?
Yeah,
no, of course it would.
That's not bipartisanship.
No.
And that's not good for the state or the country.
Compromising with conservatives is not the best decision for the country or
People
the state.
have to understand, you're dealing with two different worldviews.
Oh, yeah.
One is based on nothing but ideology.
And greed.
Well, that comes with it.
And the get way of life.
Because
and then
that's the Ayn Rand thingy.
The get way of life.
The get way of life. And the other is a progressive view.
With compassion.
For those who don't have at the moment.
Yeah.
And we want to give them the opportunity to get to the position of having. Instead of it, as it's set up right now, we siphon the moolah, we siphon the opportunities, we siphon the options upward.
To the 1%, to the fat cats.
To the 30%.
To the 30%. Hey, it's like the old days of merry old England. The people were not allowed to hunt in the king's forest and shoot the king's deer with an arrow. All right, everything belonged to the king. Well, under progressive liberals, the whole country belonged to the people. And
well, it's supposed to. We're supposed to be a democracy, but it isn't. It's fascism because the corporations and the wealthy, the plutocrats, they own the government, not us. Try to go in to see your congressman tomorrow with an idea. You got something for my campaign? You want to put some moolah in my campaign? I'll see you. Big lobbyist for a big corporation, he put some money into the campaign. Hey, the door's wide open. Come on in, sit down. Hey, what's your problem? I'll fix it. That's our government.
Oh, it's like a hooker telling
it's bribery.
It's like a hooker and walking through a casino, and starts rubbing some patron's shoulders and how you doing, big boy, you handsome guy, man. And then all of a sudden she sees $100 bills and she goes, oh, you're extremely handsome. Oh, how many more of them hundreds do you have? Oh, you're the most handsome. That's how the politicians are.
But then, when politicians do just that, we accuse them of being traitors to their party, even causing an election to go the wrong way. The Republican criticism that Governor Christie is taking for partnering with President Obama on Sandy relief efforts to more efficiently get his job done, spare as many lives as possible, and help bring a semblance of normalcy to thousands of people in despair is nonsense. What should he have done? Snub the president?
Yeah, that's what I was saying before.
Turn down assistance when people around him were dying? Underwater and on the streets? All to prove to others that he was being true to his party? Well, the Republicans, as they're structured right now, it is party over country or state. That's what it is right now.
Mm-hmm.
Christie acted immediately and without hesitation or consideration to what might be better for him and his career. He responded like a true American, who not only takes his job seriously, but who cares deeply for those for whom he is responsible.
Another outstanding reading. Do we have one good last one
One good one, last one.
to knock off? Okay.
The world's largest manufacturers of rechargeable lithium-ion batteries and their North Jersey and California subsidiaries are being sued for allegedly engaging in a decade-long conspiracy to fix prices on the batteries used to power portable computers, cell phones, cameras, and other electronic devices.
Is this a form of price gouging?
This is
In a way?
form of, I got this thing, you ain't got it, and I'm going to charge you what I want.
And I'm your only source
Thank you.
to get this.
At least 11 lawsuits
Price gouging. Yeah.
brought on behalf of 13 plaintiffs from Englewood to Los Angeles have been filed in the U.S. District Court in Newark. The suits, which seek to be designated as class actions, aim to represent hundreds of thousands of customers who purchase rechargeable lithium-ion batteries made, marketed, or sold by the defendants, or electronic products that came equipped with such batteries. Consumers have been forced to pay artificially inflated prices
This sounds very familiar
for the batteries since 2002
in the American form of capitalism. Very familiar.
as a result of anti-competitive practices. See?
It's monopoly.
Keeping the competition down so
So
that you have to buy my product, pal.
isn't it the same?
I'm the only game in town.
Isn't it the same as what Monsanto wants to do to farmers all over the world?
And is doing.
But many farmers in many countries have said no to Monsanto.
And 250,000 of them in India committed suicide.
Well,
That's no answer.
But that was stupid. Why should they commit suicide?
Because they got no way of making a living.
Well, what happened to their original seeds?
Monsanto don't let them have them.
What does the Indian government have to say?
Who knows?
Are they,
Very corrupt.
they're that corrupt, huh?
at all
Well,
levels.
you know, India is a very ancient country. I mean, you would imagine there are plenty of original seeds in India.
Yeah, but they have that crap again, you know, like if Monsanto has a field and it's genetically modified seed or whatever goes over to your field
Pollen.
and they find one plant of theirs on your field, they sue you, baby.
Yeah, but that's an act of God that the
Oh,
wind...
no, you stole it.
How could you...
You have no proof of
How
that.
could you steal it if the wind blew it?
You stole it.
Or if a bird transports it?
Because Monsanto has more lawyers than you, and that's what it will be. You stole it. To hell with the wind and act of God crap. Okay?
It's the devil's economics.
That's correct. And these people can't fight it. Because they have no opportunity or ability to fight Monsanto.
So you have Monsanto with their many paid off shill super slick lawyers pecking like woodpeckers on a tree peck, 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 until they get their way.
Among the companies named as defendants are LG Chem, America Inc., South Korean firm, Secaucus-based Panasonic Corporation, Maxwell Corporation, Sanyo, Sony, Samsung, Hitachi. This is a matter under litigation, so it would be inappropriate for us to comment, said Jim Riley, a spokesman for Panasonic. And the other companies said the same thing. The only plaintiff from New Jersey, of Englewood, also declined to discuss the case. The defendants collectively control more than 2/3 of the worldwide market for lithium-ion batteries, a $16 billion industry. Over the past year, the United States Department of Justice and the European Union have launched investigations into price fixing in the battery market. In their complaints, the plaintiffs pointed to other global price-fixing schemes orchestrated by several of the defendants or their affiliates during the same period, as a strong indicator that they may have done the same thing in raising battery prices. The companies, many of their executives have pleaded guilty to price-fixing involving key components in computers, televisions, cell phones, and other electronic goods. Prices for lithium-ion batteries plummeted by 50% as a result of intense competition after Korean manufacturers entered the marketplace in the early 2000s. The Japanese and Korean companies then entered into an illegal conspiracy around 2002 to raise prices, shattering predictions by analysts that prices would continue to fall as production volumes grew. With the global recession in 2008, demand for consumer electronic devices dropped and battery prices began tumbling again by about 40%. The defendants responded with a dramatic coordinated cut in production, which achieved the desired result of stabilizing prices by the end of 2009. The prices remained stable until the defendants learned that the Justice Department and the European Union had begun price-fixing investigations in mid-2011. Within 3 months of the disclosure of the investigation, battery prices tumbled by 10%. Such a price decline would be predicted with the end of a cartel, which had artificially raised prices and supports the allegations of collusion occurring before this time. Meanwhile, a federal judicial panel is considering requests to consolidate the class action lawsuits in Newark or in San Francisco. The plaintiffs filing in New Jersey include residents of Arizona, California, Florida, Michigan, Mississippi, New York, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and Wisconsin, and a computer business in Arkansas.
We shall see. Doesn't surprise me.
Of course not. That's how the big money is made.
Ill-gotten.
You see the financial disaster, crisis.
Ill-gotten gains. The
Correct.
devil's economics.
That's where the big dough is. That's why they change the laws. They make it legal. They make their illegality legal. Should I mention Glass-Steagall?
Yeah, there you go.
Still not back into effect, is it?
No.
No. But that's what they do. They change the laws and make their illegality legal.
You know what? You just reminded me of something. For this special show of Thanksgiving week 2012 and Black Friday week. which is Friday,
Next Friday.
naturally, yeah. Because Thanksgiving is always on a Thursday. Walmart is forcing its employees to work on Thanksgiving Day to increase its profits, to get a jump on the Christmas season, the pagan Christmas season. These people are already paid a microscopic salary compared to the cost of living. They pay shit, probably with no benefits or very little, and they are forcing these poor souls who look forward to spending a Thanksgiving dinner with their loved ones, with their families, forcing them to work. Shame on you. Speaking of the devil's economics, shame on you, evil, wicked, greedy Walmart.
Well, that's what we have in America, where we have allowed the private sector make all these rules and have all this power and control. This is wrong. No one, and that is why, by the way, in the world tomorrow, the millennium, when Christ will be in control, no man will work for another man so that the other man will be able to make dough off of his back. Every man, Micah 4, verse 4, shall have his own land, that is his freedom, his security, and his own vine. It is wrong and immoral for people to have to go to work or whatever to survive.
I agree.
Because that is a condition whereby they will exploit you or they will make a slave of you.
That's true.
Because of this power they have over you. And no man should have that power over another man.
And that's exactly what a conservative form of American capitalism would be.
What do you mean would? It is.
Is.
Correct.
Corporate plutocracy. And this is why do you think I keep on saying compromising bipartisanship is a huge mistake? This is the reason.
Well, one of the big mistakes that people make who want to argue policy or want to argue ideology or stuff like that is somewhere around 35% of the Republican Party is what you could call right-wing, conservative, religious nuts. Okay? 35%. Well, if you want to destroy or undermine or in some way get rid of those policies that they hold and ideology, you have to undermine their religious base. That is easy to do because they claim, all the Christians that I hear or know of or something, they all claim to get their ideas, their tenets, their canons from the Bible. And that is not true.
Obviously.
And therefore, when you show them that what you say is not in the Bible, that should destroy their bases. But unfortunately, we don't have enough power and megaphone power to get at that, to be able to do that. But it should be an easy task. Anybody who knows their Bible should be able to put all of those ideological and traditional crapola to rest.
No, Republicans would come back and say, these progressives are just trying to divide us Americans, divisiveness. You know, they'll accuse you of divisiveness instead
But they've already divided. We are a divided nation.
But they like to use that term.
So what? How could that be divisive? How could it be divisive if you tell the truth about their religion? They have no more standing.
But that's it. They don't come. They have no comeback for the debate. They have no.
Right. Well, then you're not dividing. You're uniting.
You're uniting. You're not. You've proved them wrong, and they have no facts to come back at you with, so they try to change the subject quickly by saying, "Oh, you're this and that, personal attacks, and you're just trying to divide Americans against each other. Class warfare. They accuse you of class warfare." And instead of answering the question or debating you intelligently and coming back with some proof.
Well, there's no debate.
No, there is no debate.
There's no debate when they come to you and say, my religious tenets and canons and traditions come from the Bible. And you point out that they don't. There's no comeback.
And then you prove it.
Where's the comeback?
And then you prove it.
Where's the comeback?
It's not just you saying...
No, it's not a matter of I, meaning, or whoever's making the statement. They prove it. They have to prove it.
True.
See, it's on their, the onus is on their head, not the person pointing out a truth.
Because our truth...
They have to defend their lie.
Because the facts that defend progressive liberals, the Bible is loaded.
Don't put all progressive liberals in there because we're talking religion now here.
Yeah, but I'm saying...
Now, not every progressive liberal is religious.
The Bible is loaded with verses commanding the rich to give to the poor and help the poor. That sounds pretty progressive liberal to me.
Sounds religious to me. It sounds like a way of life.
Well,
it doesn't sound like politics. You got to remember.
What do progressives do?
The Bible has
they tell you to help the poor, compassion, right?
But the Bible is not political.
Oh,
you must rid yourself of this two-party system and politics and etc. The Bible is not political.
But the proof is in the pudding.
But it's not political, so do not assign, just because the Bible says to take care of the poor and this, that, and the other thing. That has nothing to do with politics.
That's just the right thing to do.
That's correct. That's a way of life. That's the give way of life. That's God's way of life.
Okay.
That's all. But then, no, see, politics itself, you got to understand, is a disease. Or as Wilhelm Reich called it, pathological. Politics is pathological.
But usually, if a Republican happens to be, if a politician happens to be running in the Republican Party, and this politician follows the real Bible, and he's a real Christian,
he won't be successful in the Republican Party.
He won't be in the Republican Party much longer.
That's correct.
That's what I'm trying to say. He'll have to jump ship.
Yes, he will.
And get aboard a new ship.
And be independent, I guess.
He would have to be an independent. If you don't want to be a Democrat, he would have to be an independent.
But again,
and be maybe a moderate independent.
But again, we must do away with parties and labels.
And we must take money out of politics.
Correct.
Because that's where the corruption is. Why should a super highly qualified, super highly intelligent individual that would make the best choice for president, why should that person be denied getting on the ballot just because they don't have contributors giving them many millions?
Well,
why should they be denied to be on the ballot?
Money denies them.
Or why should the media deny the independent candidates by not televising a nationwide debate amongst independents?
Remember,
they don't do that either.
Everything that is can be changed. Everything that is can be changed. Here's another thing. The austerity measures going on in the world, and now the Republicans want to do it in America, etc., etc. All we have to do is change the game.
There you go.
A new deal. Tell the banks to go to hell. Take a hike. We ain't paying.
Yeah.
What are they gonna do?
It's like a modern day parent who's afraid to say no to their children. Learn to say no to the fat cats. No. That's it. No, and that would work in a system where money is not the factor in politics. You know what I mean? Like if you have enough votes to get on the ballot, you should be getting on the ballot regardless of how much money is in your campaign. Because if you're a nice person, you're not going to have the corporations and the rich fund your campaign. Naturally, you're not going to have that.
Well, of course not, but
No.
you know, that's why money should be taken out.
All right, I got to do forgot to do promo again. I just want to salute real quick my good friend Mr. Army McGuire for the start of his brand new business, manufacturing real, authentic, traditional wooden Persian meals and Indian clubs, the real deal meals, as I like to call them, the real deal meals. Mr. Army McGuire, good luck. I salute you with my lucky blackthorn shillelagh. May your business thrive and be prosperous, and you are the only one that produces real authentic Persian meals, okay, as well as the British style Indian clubs. And his website is agelessstrength.com. This gentleman next to me, see this? This is a self-portrait of the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman. It's a watercolor painting because the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman is a fine watercolor artist. Simply Google William J. Eisenman collection, or go on the Newsletter Censored Facebook page, and the whole album is there of his paintings. If you see something you like, email Dr. Bill at newslettercensored.com, and if he still has the painting, you can procure it, okay, for a good price. Usually the bidding starts at $500, but make him a good deal as a gift to support this work. This is the best way to join our organization right here. The best way to be a part of our organization, founded in 1977 by the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman, Newsletter Censored. Okay, there's nothing like Newsletter Censored out there. It's the kind of information that most people are afraid to hear. Can you handle it? This is a type of newsletter that has information that you're never going to hear or read in the mainstream media or the mainstream press. So if you want to join our organization, this is the way to do it. Go to newslettercensored.com, click on the printable order form, and with your gift to support this work, get your free annual subscription to Newsletter Censored. This is the newsletter that started it all. You need Newsletter Censored in the end times. You need Newsletter Censored to learn how to defeat a conservative. And of course, there's more information in the newsletter than there is on our websites or on our talk shows. You need Newsletter Censored. Okay. Thank you for joining us for this week's Progressive Discussions. And this Friday, way before the sun ever comes up, in the wee hours of the morning, you're going to have massive amounts of foolish, sucker, kiss-ass, mostly younger generation parents who will wait online and freeze their asses off, shivering, waiting online from God knows how early in front of all these retail stores, regardless what it is. Toys R Us, Best Buy, I don't care. They'll be there. They'll be there hours before the store opens up because they have to be the first to get in there and buy the sale item before it runs out. These are the lemmings that are that are programmed and brainwashed by retail companies for this pagan Christmas 2012 season.
I'll be sleeping.
So I'm not saluting you. I'm going to shake my shillelagh at you. I'll be sleeping too for being suckers by doing that. When we were kids, we weren't spoiled like this with expensive electronic toys and games. No way. They're afraid to say no to their kids. You have no idea how many young parents coddle their children, never spank. They want to go out
Well, I don't think young
The
kids
kid-
should be spanked anyway. I think adults should be spanked.
The kids take a tantrum when their mommy wants to go out. You know, please don't go, wow, 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 wow. They take tantrums all the time because that's their way of controlling and manipulating their parents.
Cool.
And these young parents fall for it. Got to learn to say no to your kids. You got to be firm and you have to be the alpha. You know? Say so long to these
So long, people.
Happy Turkey Day 2012.